Hello, everyone. I want to explain why you've been receiving music from me lately. I want to explain that in the last year or so, I've been studying neuroanatomy, brain function, and so on, and I have made a discovery about the medicinal properties of music, listening to music, or playing music. So let me explain something. The hearing of the sound of music, which is auditory nerve, it is processed in the emotional midbrain, not in the cortex. For example, you can hear a lecture uh, of words, but you can't read a book with words at the same time because the cortex area is being used by both the listening and the reading. But you can listen to music in the background and listen to a lecture or read a book. Why? Because the music goes into the midbrain, bypasses the cortex, it bypasses the logic reason part. So listening to music will alter and relax the emotional system of the midbrain, which includes the limbic amygdala, hippocampus, the hypothalamus, pituitary, hormones, and the immune system. All this is affected by listening to music. And this was why in high school, teenagers naturally want to listen to music to offset the reasoning and logic that they're imposed upon them by learning in high school. So while the cortex is processing logic and reason, the music offsets that, and that's why everybody has that experience in school where you just want to relax, listen to music, and sort of feel better. So music has no logic or reason, only sound vibrations that have melody and a beat to engage the midbrain emotions. Now, the beat is very important. So let me go through the major types. Let's start with early history when there was Aboriginal, just drum beats and repetitive chanting. If you go to Africa in the after the primates, there was beat, the drum beat. They would just have a steady beat. They would chant in repetition, and that was to soothe the emotions. This is way before cortex logic functioning. And then there's classical music that had polite melody, which no culture or language had a barrier to music. Classical music could be in Europe, Asia, anywhere. Just music by piano or strings was melodic, and that felt good. Then in the 20s, there was swing and ragtime. That dancing was associated with having a good time. And then there was the soul music, the rhythm and blues. Now, the blacks had dancing with this music because they let loose and their emotions were more readily let loose than the white culture. But country western was rural, not city slicker, unsophisticated stories about living. So country western was tame, but it had some dancing to it and rhythm, but no real dancing. Now rock and roll in the early 50s was wild. Elvis the Pelvis started this music with shaking it up for the white people, but the blacks, of course, were doing that already. But the white people did not like Elvis shaking the pelvis, and Ed Sullivan told them they would photograph him when he waist up. But anyway, they put him in the army, cleaned up the rock and roll. It was tame, but still affected the emotions of the teenagers of the time. The Beatles in '64 opened up a whole new vista where teenagers were able to listen to emotional based music which alleviated their cortex worries, such as the Cold War, being killed by nuclear bombs, and so on. The 60s was just a free for all rush to good music because we needed it. There was too much emphasis on science, technology, the Sputnik race for logic and reason. Well, teenagers just listen to music, and me included, and I started to play music. So the Beatles inspired many, many people to just, hey, you know what? You can relax with music. So that started off many, many people to go to music, which I did. I played music as well as listened to it. And many people just listened. They didn't play, but they could listen to it and felt good. Then the heavy metal people addressed the angry, disillusioned crowd. Then there was the grunge. Kurt Cobain confused divorced kids from the baby boomers that were narcissistic. Then there's the punk, angry at society. Glam rock, hip city slickers, Madonna, Gaga, that kind of stuff. And then the rap. The rap is inner city blacks. The words and the beat, they were able to express themselves. So it's a universal language. The vibrations of music has affected the brain stem and the midbrain way, way before the cerebral cortex. So that's why to this day, people love to listen to music after a hard day's work or when they're stressed out. Music relaxes them. And that is because the brain has a center of music appreciation, which is emotionally based. The primal reason is the beat, the melody, ritual dancing to drum beats. Now, we have, let's see, oh yeah, the lyrics, of course, is important because this gives credence to life stories, helps one understand what's going on in their love life, about love, social issues, and protests, and so on and so forth. Now, let me get to playing why I did this video, because I'm playing a lot now. And I find that the playing is something that, first of all, if you can drum, beat, that's easy. Just beat, beat, beat. That helps relieve tension. But if you can have a coordination of the hands or fingers for piano, the cerebellum and the spinal cord are getting coordinated. And they will then improve the nervous system function. Now, drums is something special, high energy, like The Who, Keith Moon, Led Zeppelin, John Bonzo Bonham, Rush, Neil Peart. Drumming is for high release of energy, but it really, really relaxes the midbrain and the emotional system because you get into a groove. So getting into a groove is very important. The piano is more for refined, polite, classical kind of people. The guitar is the male phallic symbol. It's called the axe. It's more for making the melody in a sexual way, like Chuck Berry, Johnny B. Good, with the duck dance. It's classical, the guitar. Now, music therapy is good for mental illness. I remember when I was in medicine, psychiatric hospitals, they played music for depressed people, and it just made them so much better. I remember this one guy, he was 18, and he was very depressed, schizophrenic. He picked up the guitar, and I did too, and he wouldn't talk to me because he was just like psychotic. But he played guitar, and I played guitar, and after about an hour, he relaxed, I relaxed, well, I was relaxed, he relaxed, and he started talking, and the music just opened him right up. So, you know what they say, just shut up and listen to the music or play the music. Don't talk so much. Also, aging. I find as we age, memory for lyrics is improved if you try to remember lyrics. And also the muscular coordination helps with the basal ganglia of the brain. So that explains maybe why Paul McCartney, Mick Jagger, the Eagles, Keith Richards, they're nearest 80, they're still rocking. They can dance, they can remember lyrics, they can use the cerebellar coordination and memory. Now, exercise of walking and running does the same thing as music. It basically opens up the muscles to be used with the cerebellum and improves brain function. So, in summary, the music that you listen to or play will lower the blood pressure, which I've noticed in myself. It improves the immune system and hormones, and it prevents the atrophy of memory and improves coordination. So you might think I'm just going back and being a teenager again, but evidently I find when I'm playing guitar especially and listening to music, I relax, feel better, and my memory is way improved. I have to remember lyrics from dozens of songs, and also the patterns. When I play the guitar, I have to remember patterns and coordination, so that really helps, and also the beat. So I would recommend people to either listen more to music, if they can play the drums, play a beat, or just play whatever they can, even piano, whatever. But music is medicinal.